Hello, everyone. Okay. I like those ones. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about the love and lustful influences of patchouli. If y'all want to share, if y'all have any questions about patchouli and how it can be used for love and or lust, um, feel free to ask. But until then, let us talk about some amazing things that we can utilize patchouli for. Anyone, anyone at all want to go, or should I go, or do you want to go?
Okay, I'll go. Sure, I'll go.
All
So
right.
I love patchouli. I'm a hippie. I was raised by hippies. I was raised around patchouli my whole entire life. So patchouli incense, patchouli oil is everywhere, and I did not get tired of it. I really like it. So when it comes to love, you can use it for all kinds of ways. I really enjoy using it for self-love. It can have a very good effect as far as self-love goes, especially with its connection to your root chakra. So it being a very earthy, down-to-earth kind of smell. So that is one of the ways I enjoy using patchouli for love. What
Lovely.
about you, Hunter? What's one of the ways you like to use patchouli when it comes to love?
In love, this is gonna sound so bad, but I don't use patchouli a lot with love. I do. It's not that I don't. I do. I actually have a love and marriage altar, and we have. Well, I'm telling all my business and shit.
All
So
right.
anyway,
Yeah.
we're on it. Like, of course, there's like representation of me and my wife and everything like that. But we have a jar, right? So it kind of started out as like um I don't know, I don't know. It's a silly way that we just started doing to write notes, and we would write notes to each other randomly, and if we ever get in an argument, like a bad one, like because we argue all the time, but like because we bicker, like you just gotta know it. But if we ever get a bad argument, we would open the jar, and we would read the things that we had wrote about each other, and then if we're still mad after that, then I don't know what the hell happens. But it never happens. If we ever read what's in there, we always get like it's like instantly we forget what we thought about, and in that jar is patchouli, and patchouli essential oil has been dressed on the outside and the inside of the jar. And I like it for when it comes to love, not necessarily like an attraction of love, but patchouli has this beautiful energy of um, nostalgic love.
Mm.
It connects you to the things you really love about your lover, if that makes sense. Like it like connects you to on a very deeper, very spiritual level, and that it's like spiritual love, but in connectivity to your partner. And that's what I when it comes to love, I don't use it as an attraction. I know a lot of people do. I just don't do attraction work a lot. I've heard of it, um, but that's just not one of the reasons I would use patchouli. It's you want to talk about kinky? We can talk about kinky in a minute, but
We can in a minute.
we'll
Let's
get to lusty because
let's get our kink on in just
where
a
it
second.
shines. But
Susie
yes, I
says
do.
that Hunter is very quiet. So Hunter, I don't know if you can turn up your mic,
Oh
but if you
no!
can't, then maybe you should speak louder. I'll like mute me and maybe that will help.
Oh no! I hate that.
Oh
Hell,
shit.
and you can't hear my loud ass. Anyways, I'm gonna talk like this. Is that better? Okay. So yes, with patchouli, every time, and it's obviously the messages that we're writing to each other are helping, but the patchouli and the essence, and really every time you open the jar, it's like patchouli just like flows out, and it really, it kind of goes against your egos a little bit. That energy kind of mellows out your ego, and like puts you in a more loving state of mind, and that's what I use patchouli most for when it comes to love workings. Yeah, Michael.
I just love patchouli. It is wonderful, but that it's all hippy dippy shit. And I one of the reasons that what Hunter said, one of the reasons that patchouli is really good for that is because patchouli actually has properties where it will calm the nerves. It helps. It's very soothing, and it's really great to utilize with anxiety because it helps to just kind of lower inhibitions in a certain way. Um, but it makes the person very relaxed. And so it's really great for new lovers because new people, when you interact with someone new, you kind of get anxious and you get kind of nervous or whatever, depending on who you are. So patchouli will be really great to use for calming that energy and helping, not necessarily an attraction, but it gives the person enough confidence because it's very earthy and it's very grounding. And when you are calm enough, you have that nature where you're able to regroup and you have that ability to stand in your power because you're not freaking out, so you're not in fear. What you are in your very rooted and grounded energy, and patchouli gives that to you. So when you're there, you have that place of confidence, and you're able to think things through. You're able to act from that spot. So it gives you that ability to say what you need to say, and that's kind of going to go into another way that you can utilize patchouli is it protects the words. It protects the way you express things, which again ties into what Hunter expressed. You can use this in verbal communication, in conversation, when you want to tell someone how you feel, and it might be out of a place of hurt, or it might be out of if you're having an argument with someone you love. If you utilize patchouli, that will help kind of ground you, calm you, and protect the words. So when you speak, it doesn't come out of a place of this vilest, gross, and this hateful speech. When you express your words and when they are received, if you utilize patchouli to kind of wrap around the energy of your words and such, it will be received better. It will help to protect and calm those words. And I don't know. It's just I like using patchouli for everything. I love patchouli for love working because love is so not necessarily fragile, but complicated. And when we're doing love working, it can be it's obviously very complicated because you have so many things to take into consideration. Patchouli is just one of those herbs and oils that can be used all around for all sorts of love. It's a great foundation. That was like a long ramble. Ooh, shit.
Well, and patchouli also defends against negative emotion too. I mean, there's a reason why hippies liked it. They're all about the peace, love, and happiness. And
yeah,
well, they also used it in replacement of deodorant. So
well, it's a really strong smell. It lasts a long time because it's a very heavy note.
And to add upon the stench part, that goes in with negative expression, negative energy, because if you use patchouli, that covers that to make that stench up. So you apply it to a spiritual nature, right. Then you can use it to,
mute it. Just mute it. Yeah.
Peace. It's also great for universal love. Patchouli you can work with to connect with Gaia. And that's kind of one of the reasons I really love patchouli, because Gaia is not just love and light, fluffy, whatever, but very harsh and very... Gaia can be very elitist as well. She takes care of her own, but at the end of the day, she takes care of herself. And she is far more important than the human population. And so she will do what she has to do to survive. She will do population control. She will kill. She will create. She will give life. And that's the cycle of life. And so that expresses patchouli well because you can utilize patchouli for all of those things.
Very much.
Absolutely, that was just wonderful. I love patchouli. Let's see, and I'll just let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh, and you can combine when you're doing. I'm just like squirrel. Well, you can combine patchouli with other things too. Like when you're doing love workings, if you can combine them with the tarot. You have uh, a specific working. Let's see how would you use it towards someone who is verbally abusive because of their own issues? How does that fit in with love? We can
Relationship-wise.
Relationship-wise, yeah. So, how could you work with patchouli towards someone who is verbally abusive? Well, we kind of just covered that, where you can well, it depends on how you want to tackle that situation. If you need to be commanding and dominating, you can utilize commanding and dominating herbs with patchouli as like the main staple where it overpowers. You can add like chrysocolla dust or just like the crystal and charge it for clear communication. And usually when someone is verbally abusive, they have like this heated energy about them. They're very hot. So you can use aquamarine, which is one of my favorites, to cool things down. So you have that. You can't use too much though because you don't want to drown it out. You need a little bit of aquamarine where it cools the situation down enough for you to have an actual conversation. And that's just the witchy side of things.
Right. Well, and you can use it with lavender too. Lavender calming the situation down, calming the person down, sort of adding that more so that calm love instead of that really fiery, passionate love.
Right.
To try to get them to be more receptive, being calmer, to display calm love. Most people who express themselves and are verbally abusive is because they have a very hot temper, they're very fiery, so that kind of
And I would
settles it down.
like that's if I'm being honest, this is not how I would handle the situation. But in this case, I think it's important that we bring up the positive notes of patchouli, and one of my favorite combinations is patchouli and spearmint. When you mix patchouli and spearmint, it is fucking phenomenal at taking a hot temper or even when it comes to anything of a heightened emotional state. I use patchouli and spearmint often for anxiety.
That does sound good.
It's like it envelops me in a sense of calm, and I also would add lavender to it if I wanted to be like really lulled and like put to a lower state. But if I just need to like really quickly calm my anxiety, calm things like that, and that goes along with someone who's verbally abusive because obviously they have problems. Obviously there's things that they have not worked through, things that they need help with truly and really, because people who are intensely verbally abusive, it's always them. I never, it's never you. It's not like you can't do something so awful to really warrant verbal abuse in that way, especially if it's a continuing thing. They need to realize that their emotions and their heightened state are affecting others, and sometimes people are really oddly enough, they're so ignorant to those things. And patchouli, especially patchouli when mixed with spearmint, it kind of it lulls you into a lower vibration, but it also kind of sort of makes you. I'm trying to word it. It makes you kind of look like a fool for your actions, because if you're acting in a way that you know you wouldn't be proud of, that has a wonderful way of kind of throwing it back in your face and making you realize, oh, whoa, I'm like totally out there. I'm totally where I don't need to be. I need to be in this vibration. I need to go lower. I need to realize my actions, and that's for that reason. Those two have such an intense energy for that. And I'm hot tempered. I'm right there with you. I'm not verbally abusive, but I am hot tempered. And when I get pissed off, those are again two
Watch
things.
out, shit.
Well, I mean, I'm a witch, so when I get pissed off, I tend to, like, go after people magically. But we're not going there this show.
When you get pissed off, I'm like, okay, throw patchouli at him. Patchouli and spearmint, just throw it. Yeah.
Like patchouli and spearmint.
So in that situation, you can utilize patchouli with the Seven of Coins, Seven of Pentacles, and here the information I'm getting from this card right now is, depending on how kind of like conniving or cunning, I guess cunning you should say you are, after you have verbal experience, you can have, if, it just depends on who you are, have sex right after, have sex, and then make sure you keep some of the bodily fluids from that experience. Take that, mix it with patchouli, stuff a poppet, or this would be even better, make a soap. And focus, imbue that with power, and imbue that with you are dominating the situation in a sense where you want this to end, and you want what you want the issues to be handled and the challenges to be handled, and you put that in a soap, and you make sure that your target, the one who is verbally abusive, if we're talking about relationships, right? Anyways, make sure that they are the ones who utilize that. Just saying.
And angry sex can be really great sex sometimes. I'm just
angry sex is fantastic. Miraculously, you're not angry afterwards. It's just like,
right?
Oh, I know, you feel awesome.
You get endorphins. You get all happy in so many different ways. There's so much you can do with that. There's so much. Just okay. Well, another thing that you can do, because there's just so many. Again, it's just so many ideas now. Before you go bang it out, you can have like a bowl and fill it with patchouli, and you can add maybe vodka to it, and some crystals, maybe Chrysocolla, because I like that shit, and put it under the bed.
Ooh,
and then
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then he, as y'all go to Pound Town, it just creates that, whatever. As you bang, basically, every time that happens, every time you make that motion, it's activating your work.
Right.
So that's another way you can do that, which is super fun, because not only are you like focusing on the act of it, you're also focusing on your work. So every time that you're like very close, or just experiencing release and such, you activate that craft. So fun. There's so many ways you can handle that situation. So Amy asked, would patchouli be good for poppet work then? Hell yes. There's honestly nothing that is not good for poppet work.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I can't think of anything that I just wouldn't use in poppets necessarily.
No, I can't think either. No. I use everything for a poppet. Would it help with friendships that are drifting apart? Absolutely. Um, Oh, this is cute. What you can do if for a friendship that is drifting apart is you can take 2 pieces of driftwood, soak them in like a patchouli mixture, uh, maybe like a few drops of patchouli oil, then bury it in patchouli, name them, create a poppet out of the driftwood, whatever. Anyways, then you can take like hemp and tie them together, and so even though you drift apart, you're still connected. Uh, yeah. And you can pull them closer together too if you want. But patchouli will help, like we expressed already, and I'm talking so much, I'm sorry. But patchouli will help to protect the integrity of the relationship. It will help to express yourself in the right way. It will help to bring about a very positive and a very rich experience.
Yes.
Okay, so we got that. Yes, did I get everything? Did we get everything?
I think we got everything.
Okay, now we can talk about kinky kinks.
Yay!
So, truly in lust. And
She
y'all,
was awesome for lust. It is like, seriously, it's one of my favorite things to use in lust. And any kind of sex magic kind of work to spice up the bedroom, so to speak. In fact, I have some cinnamon patchouli incense that is amazing. I mean, just those two alone. Oh yeah, that's really very spicy, very nice to burn in the bedroom. So there's that, and I also like to, jasmine is fun to add to patchouli because it's like really sweet, and if you throw in a little bit of orange oil to sort of counteract that uber sweetness with the uber musk, and it sort of balances things out a little bit. That can be a very awesome little combo to bring out the freak in you.
why is that song super freaky?
Oh yeah. Well, I just first of all, I want to say that patchouli is one of those. It's one of those herbs to me that are sacred to the Witch Father. It connects you to like that wild, primal, raw energy that good sex really has. Because there's like sex and then there's like good sex. I mean, so like patchouli kind of like bumps it up a little bit. It incorporates that raw, like primal, very guttural, very inhibited, uninhibited, not inhibited, uninhibited energies about you. I love patchouli and I love patchouli cinnamon. I don't have any of that. My
Oh, you
birthday's
should
next
get
year.
some.
My birthday's next year.
Get
But send me a link to where I can get some because I've never even fucking heard of it. Legit.
I'll just stock up at the store next time I go, and I'll send you a bunch.
That's an awesome thing. So when I'm working, and I was talking to these two about it before, I'm working with the Witch Father, and right now there's like an intense need for sexual energy to be expressed, and sexual energy when it comes to witchcraft to be expressed for me personally. And patchouli is one of those things, and I did ritual last night, and there were some things that were brought to my attention, and in fact, for this very reason, today I took a bath. I take baths a lot, especially magically. Baths are really better than showers. So I took a bath for a specific reason. Not going into it, but anyway, I added patchouli to the bath water. And first of all, patchouli is sexy on fucking every level. I love it. My wife knows it, and I think that's like, I don't know. She gives me patchouli soap. She gives like patchouli pick up patchouli. Like I've got patchouli lotion. I'm like, so I guess she's telling me something. But anyway, so my entire point on that random fucking rant that I'm having is that the patchouli really brings out that beautiful side of sex and that wonderful connective energy that sex can bring. On a side note, patchouli also makes me kind of sexually into myself. So there you go. I mean, it is very like it's kind of it's kind of like that. It's kind of like makes you not only sexually powerful for your sexually powerful for your partner, but also it brings out that sexual nature in yourself because yes, sex is meant to be done with at least one other person, but there's also a sexual energy that is all about us that we need to find because we need to find ourselves and we need to feel ourselves sexy to really express sex with another person. You have to find that sexual energy and that sexual power within you, and patchouli's excellent at that.
It is, and for releasing and lowering inhibitions, like I believe Michael said earlier, and that can really help with the kinky factor in the bedroom. And to me, patchouli's honestly, I think it works as far as the self-sexual vibe you're talking about, more for men than women. It's because I think it's more of a, I don't know, to me, I think it just does more for men than it does for women.
No, I totally agree.
It has that more masculine energy, I think.
It really does. And, well, like I said, it's for men, it brings out that that dominating factor without being like overly dominant, but it does. It brings out that testosterone, like dominant, like need to be the dominant one in that situation. So,
But if you want to bring out the female side, if you add a little bit of rosemary, because rosemary is very feminine, and there's just something about rosemary that makes you a little bit, as far as for women go, I feel, makes you a little bit more confident and not so afraid of letting your real power out. You know what I mean? Letting those real sexual emotions come.
And I totally see that combination in the same light as I'm saying that patchouli is good for male dominance. In that same way, when you incorporate I actually really love that. When you're incorporating the rosemary with the patchouli, it also brings out the female dominant.
Right. It gives you that confidence, you know.
Control too, but not in a bad way, but a good way, like a good controlling, controlled of your own actions, but confident enough to in the bedroom to express your needs and your desires without feeling like you need to shut your mouth and not say it.
Right.
And again, communication. It keeps coming up with patchouli, but yeah.
Yes, it does. One of the blends I utilize for, well, not for myself, but for feminine empowerment, or because a lot of this is just my experience and just from the people that I've talked to, a lot of females have issues with self-love. They have issues with just masturbation. They just have challenges with it. So one of the blends that I work with is patchouli, lang lang, and vanilla.
Ooh.
And the lang lang, I don't really like using lavender. We can use lavender, but for this, I prefer lang lang because lang lang has a lavender feel, but it's a little more potent. It's a little more raw. And so it allows the feminine and the female to be empowered, allows the patchouli essence to come in and to she can write it out. She can take that energy and she can like become something more. And she feels connected to it because you have the Lang Lang that is in resonance to her, her femininity, and the vanilla kind of sweetens the deal. That scent is something that everyone is attracted to usually, but that scent helps to pull everything together, and you have a very powerful blend for someone to take control and not feel shamed about it, not feel shameful, embarrassed. It allows them to be very powerful.
Plus,
Yes.
vanilla is really comforting. It's like home.
Right.
It has that really comfortable feeling. So you're comfortable with loving yourself. And that's
without the sedative qualities of lavender, right?
right.
Right. Right. And if you want to get if you want to have a rough sexual experience and you want to get crazy, I like to utilize these crystals right here. Quartz crystal to intensify and to empower, and you can't use a lot. Again, that was weird. I like to use black obsidian, just like little pieces of black obsidian, and I use black tourmaline dust to kind of like neutralize any harsh energies, but to make it safe as well. So you have the black obsidian that's kind of intense and powerful and dominating, and you have that rough experience where you get enough roughness, but the black tourmaline makes sure there's like that safe word, and you can mix it with patchouli, and it just depends on what you're gonna use it for, and how you're gonna use it. If it's in like a candle spell, you can mix cayenne pepper with it, which is really good to kind of heat things up and kind of get really like freaky, but also add cinnamon, which is also like you're gonna heat things up in a different way. It adds that little bit of that love connection, a little more intimate, and to me that's really fun. It's not necessary, but when you connect to someone on a more intimate level and you get crazy, that's very powerful. Yeah, so
I like that. And on the other note, like rough and crazy is awesome, but at the same time, the sensual, connective, like energy. Patchouli also has that sensual,
right.
connective energy. So like the sex that you feel very connected, very passionate, very at one with your partner. That patchouli is great with that too. I love, and I don't use a lot. Patchouli essential is potent.
Yes,
It
it
really,
is.
really, really potent. Like it's not that I'm saying it's like necessarily like dangerous or anything like that, but it can become over empowering. So for this reason, I love massage oil. So if you're like, yeah, because rub downs are always good, like especially like the sensual, like more erotic massages. You can add just a little bit. Like when I say a little bit, just like a little bit to like a homemade massage oil. If I'm talking drops, I'm like 5 at max. Like you don't want to get crazy, and that's in like a. I'm gonna slap you. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Michael's distracting me, but what I'm trying to say is, if you're with your partner and you want that like connective sex, that passionate, that powerful on a different level, sex. That's where I'm going with that. Like add it to the massage oil, add it to your bath. It's fantastic. I love to mix some calendula oil with patchouli, and I put it in a bath as like a bath elixir. Yeah, it's totally sensual, totally sexual. It's great. So we have a question, comment.
We got a lot of different things to be said right now, and I like that. That's very good. Thank you for sharing. It's just wonderful indeed.
I'm not slapping.
Go ahead. It's fine. It's within the realm of the. Okay, so it truly is so much fun. It really is. But okay, so let's see. Miss Susie says mixed with lemongrass to aid a shy person in being extrovert helps with language, i.e., flirting and charm. So true. And you know what? Oh, I don't have it with me. Um, that's wonderful. And mixing it with red lemongrass is delicious. Yes. I love that. Am I missing something?
Well, Solaria, hey, says my husband has Satyrs oil, which has a patchouli as a base, which makes a lot of sense. Because isn't patchouli one of Pan's favorite herbs, I believe, or something?
If it's not, it needs to be.
I think it is. I think I read that somewhere, but I could be wrong. So, and she says she mix mine with dragon's blood when I feel like a sexy vibe boost.
Yeah.
Right?
I like it. I like it a lot. And this, you know what, this really does. And she also expressed that this topic also ties in with the Shadow Self show we just talked about. And it really does, because a lot of issues that people have are with sex and talking about sex.
That's really a shame. Gosh, like, that should be the easiest thing for anybody to talk about, but oddly enough, it's just not.
And people get really defensive, over it too. Like they take offense when people talk about sex, which I'm like, it's just.
There's not a person alive that's on this earth that is not here without sex. I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like breathing, or crying, or it's a natural reaction, and all humans do it. All animals do it. It's like. But patchouli has that energy to really kind of open the airways too with the communication about sex, and we mentioned it earlier. But it makes we mentioned it in several different ways. But if you want to, if you're in a relationship, or even if you're in that situation with a client, because a lot of times clients will go to a witch for needs in this nature before they'll go to anybody else, and that's just true. I mean. They'll go to a witch because for some reason, I guess we're really sexual beings, and they just get that, and they're like, oh, whatever, I'll go to the witch down the street and ask her to spice up my sex life, or even to make it more, this is what
Sorry.
What are you laughing at?
Freaking Rachel.
What did she say?
I don't mean to cut you off, and I apologize, that's rude.
It's okay. Yeah,
okay, so I'm like, I have my computer over here and my laptop right here, and I see that she shared the event, and she says, live now, 2 words, and big-ass caps, because big, natural Viagra.
It is true.
So true, though.
Sorry.
No, man, what my point was, we mentioned about how women do not want to talk about their sexual needs with their partner, and even their own sexual issues with themselves, and in a masturbatory way and things like that. But oddly enough, men have this problem a lot. Men have a hard time expressing their sexual natures for whatever reason. We're known as the more sexual of the genders. I'm sorry. Every time I look up, Michael's doing something weird. Anyway, yeah.
He does it the whole time you're talking and not looking too, so it's okay.
I'm gonna not look at the screen. But anyway, men have a problem sometimes with expressing what they want in the bedroom, because there's so much stigma with male sexuality, and if anything is not like cut and dry missionary position, blah blah blah. A lot of times they have an issue with it, and men should have the feelings when it comes to sex that a lot of women have, because it's things are being reversed. Women are taking control a lot when it comes to sex in recent years, and men are kind of pushing it back. Like, let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about our needs. This is good enough. Like, we're having sex, it's good enough. That's not true. You should always be in a relationship where you can talk about your sexual needs, sexual wants, sexual desires, because it just makes it better. And patchouli is fucking excellent for that. It's
Yeah.
like it lowers those inhibitions, but it also makes you more comfortable and makes your partner more receptive to the energies that you need to convey.
I think that men a lot of times get stuck in ruts as far as like they find something that really works well,
Or they
and so they
think
keep
works
doing it.
well.
Well, I
Or
honestly,
they
And
think
it does work well at first, but then after a while it can get kind of old, even if it's not a bad thing necessarily.
I
You
think
know,
that's where communication is like the key. Which again, we're going back to communication because I've seen it a lot. Well, anyways, you have people in a relationship or people who are hooking up, whatever, and they are doing the same thing over and over, and one person is doing that because they think the other person liked it, and the other person said they liked it, but they really didn't. They needed something else. So if both parties don't clearly communicate, and it's not offensive, it's not. That's the thing that we have to get over is like it's not offensive if your body needs something more, if it needs something different, then you have to be confident enough and okay with yourself to express that so you are taken care of and so you take care of the person that you're with. That's just super important.
it
Uh,
is.
and Solaria, I think men have an issue with expressing themselves because they don't want to become the butt of jokes from their friends. And that happens
it,
and
I
it's
think that's
true.
more with younger men than older, honestly.
well, I think it depends because like that is true with younger men, but I think that even in older men, people are just they don't want to talk about it or they don't want to express it because they think that they're not allowed to talk about their sexuality with anyone because then it's deemed like inappropriate or not just
Right.
inappropriate but like queer, and that's more so for obviously straight men, because straight men don't want to speak around each other about certain things, and that's not always the case. Some people have their comfortable talking about it, and that's cool. Um, but
It Yeah, and it depends on like how you were brought up, what your background is, like that. There's so many factors in
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I would tend to agree with that comment. Only, in my opinion, there's only a few people that I talk about my sex life with. So I'd be like, okay, if you don't want anybody to know it, you need to just keep it in the bedroom and just
right,
fine. But the important part is what your partner's needs and your needs. Like that's what's important. And
right, and, yeah. What was I gonna say? Okay, so Miss Susie, we love Miss Susie. She said. Beltane rights. Don't know if you already discussed options for this as I joined late. So we didn't really discuss Beltane or Beltane rights. Uh, I do have like a mixture that is really good, especially for the sacred masculine, the male, for Beltane. Uh, and that would be, should I share it? Yes, I will share it. Okay, so you can take patchouli. Alrighty. You take patchouli, you take goldenrod, you take tribulus, which
mm,
tribulus is a fucking bitch to grind up. So you gotta put some strength into that shit. And,
it's
just,
worth it.
it is. And I also add a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of horny goat weed.
Mm.
You don't talk about natural Viagra.
Yeah. So you mix all of that, and it just depends. Sometimes I'll do tribulus, yes. I'll do that all dried, and then I will take like cherry kernel, carrier oil, or even jojoba, and I will add like a little bit of vanilla and a drop of cassia, and there's other things you can use, and I won't go into that, but you can mix that and promote like a really very powerful uh, masculine expression. and that would definitely help during Beltane rites where you really want to channel the sacred masculine, channel that primal raw uh, passion.
Mhm.
Um, with Beltane, I don't want to get too I don't know, and not informative, but too like out there. Um, Beltane for the more traditional, like British traditional followers, like modern British traditional anyway. Um, there seems to be a lot of rites in copulation with the god. Um, and in that way, and I can talk about both. And females, obviously, it's very receptive energy. Patchouli totally holds that. Because again, it works so well. And like Melissa was saying, when it comes to the feminine, patchouli and rosemary, which I've never used because obviously I don't have a vagina. But like, yes, I can totally see that. That's fantastic. But with Beltane and the actual Great Rite, all that it incorporates. That's an entire show on its own, but specifically with copulation or becoming one with the god during Beltane, it is uh, it works both ways. It works as the receptive energy, and then the patchouli kind of brings in that energy where you can embrace and invoke the god within you, and then you're it's like, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff with Beltane.
Truly, truly good stuff. We're gonna have to start finishing some shit up because we don't want to go too crazy. There's so much more that we can talk about, and maybe we'll do blog posts, maybe we'll do other things other times. Um, Another one, I guess, one last tip from me at least, is you can take patchouli, like essential oil, and write with it, create a sigil with it, and empower it with your projection. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Shut up. Uh, is there anything else y'all would like to add before we close up?
I think I've said enough. I could ramble on patchouli, so.
Organized. So I'm good for now.
Yay! Super fun. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna say goodnight. And if y'all have any questions, if you have any suggestions for like future shows, let us know. All right. And do it'd be awesome if y'all do like a video response and tell us what a way or two or three or whatever on how you utilize patchouli in love or lust formulas or workings and all that jazz.
Yes.
Just until next time, peace.